Yes.
Hello, my name is Rebecca Simpson, and I would like to share with you guys a testimony about my grandmother, Meemaw. Growing up, I spent a lot of time with my grandparents. Their house was kind of like my safe place. Their influence on my life throughout the years made me the person I am today. About a month ago, my grandpa passed away unexpectedly. His passing made us all question God's love for us and what God's plan was. A week later, my grandmother, Meemaw, was admitted to the hospital. And as the days went on, Meemaw got weaker and weaker. And she finally told me that she was ready to go home. Not her house home, but to her home in heaven to be with Poppy. The next day, the doctors informed us that there was nothing else they could do. So they transitioned her to hospice, and Meemaw slipped into a coma-like state shortly after. As the hours went on, we all prayed and we talked and we all sang around her bed, just trying to savor every last moment we had with her. 14 hours later, the nurse came in and said that it was close. Her heart rate and her respiration rate were very low, and the nurse said it would be any time. I held her hand and I told her I loved her, and I understood why she had to leave and that we would all be okay. My heart was breaking, and all I could do was pray that God would take care of her. 2 hours later, Meemaw opened up her eyes for the first time, and she looked at me and she said, "What are we waiting for?" I was so shocked. I didn't know what to say. I said, "Well, I don't know." And Meemaw looked around the room and saw all of us standing, and she said, "Am I dying?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know now. Like, you look a lot better." And she looked at me and she said, "Well, I'm not dying. I feel fine." We were so shocked. We went out of the room, went and got the nurse, and she took her vitals, and everything was looking normal. Meemaw was talking a lot. She said she was ready to eat and go home, and she wanted to go shopping. She had a whole new outlook on life, and she was ready to live again, something that I hadn't seen since my grandpa passed. She was ready to see what God had in store for her. The doctor came in shortly after and said that he'd never seen anything like it. He said, "She's going to be okay." He said, "Don't know how, but she's going to be okay." And we all knew that a miracle happened that night. And despite what all the doctors said and what they thought, that God performed a miracle, and He wasn't ready to take her home. He has a plan for her. And miracles still do happen today. We fully believe that. And with God, anything is possible.